head down and carry on. You fight like hell, turn the other cheek. It's what separates the strong from the weak. And that's just the way that the line gets drawn. You gotta keep on living till the fight is gone.
And then every player on the ice has a 10-minute misconduct.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 10-Minute Misconduct. We are an unofficial FPHL podcast. We got a great episode coming for you today. We've got our hosts Aaron and Sam joining us and our special guest Dmitry Kuznetsov. So let's get settled in. And Dmitry, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Happy to be here and, answer some questions and talk a little bit about hockey.
Yeah, let's do it. So let's just jump right into it. I did a little research and I was very impressed with your resume that you've played in so many different countries, 3 different continents. So can you take us back to the beginning and just tell us how things got started for you in hockey?
Yeah, so I started playing junior hockey in States. So I played a year for Dallas Ice Jets, then 2 years for Salt Lake City, and last year split it between Cheyenne and Casper Coyotes. And it was a Western States Hockey League. Good league, good league. I only have a good words about that league. Then during the summer, I got back to Russia, and it wasn't really like I didn't have any offers from like SP, or I was trying to get to the East Coast tryout or something, and it just didn't work with the visa, and sign it in Denmark, closer I will say to like a Christmas time. And first I started in a Danish second league. We played all the way. Team wasn't even supposed to make the playoffs. Made it to playoffs. Got to the finals. Lost in the finals. And then next year, I was trying to get to the first league in Denmark. And after like one game in the second division, it all worked out. Got to the main league, and from there, it was a really good experience playing with the guys from the East Coast Hockey League, playing with the guys from like the A. Those the guys from KHL, So it was a good start of I feel like the pro career, and I learned a lot from it. And then after my last year in Denmark in Elite League, I was trying to sign again, but the import rule, you can only have 6 players, 6 or 5 or maybe even 4 right now. So it's tight. Signed it in Sweden, played 2 games, dislocated my shoulder fully when my bone was out, like broken inside. Recovered from it, played 2 games and 3 or 4 games, maybe even in Germany. COVID hits it. So, season's over. I got back home, kind of stayed through a lockdown, and then all of a sudden got my United States visa. And yeah, from there, started kind of playing in the States. Played during the COVID with Columbus 2 games. That's the time, remember, when they had like all the COVID, and most of the guys were staying at the house. So that Port Huron series, that's where I was my kind of like introduction to the Federal Hockey League, and it was cool. I mean, excited. That was my first game actually was against Joe Pace. I was still showing him a highlight. I just got like kind of in front of the net, and the guy just like 2-hand cross-checked me right in front of the ref. I'm looking at the ref. I was like, anything? He's like, nope, play. I'm like,
Typical fan.
Like, yeah.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, but Joe has his ways, the way he plays the game, and he knows all the tricks and stuff. So then play those 2 games. Then they got their whole roster. They end up winning the whole thing. And next summer, so when I played in Salt Lake for 2 years, one of the years my coach was Jeff Carr, who was the head coach for Knoxville at that time. And he just called me literally right before the time I was about to go to Denver. He called me. He's like, "We're short. We need you." So I got to Knoxville, played a couple games, and then eventually got to Denver. And that's where it's kind of like the fun hockey starts for me. It was the time in Denver, it was unreal. Like especially on the ice. Like the year 1, we was kind of like struggle now and then, especially on the road. We kind of had the 2 rosters. I feel like that's now that's why right now, like, league is like, strict about 19 players and stuff, because we had literally like almost two rosters with Steve Mealy's and another Mealy brother. We have Bronner at the end of the year. All those, they were good players, but they're just like too many players. On the road, there would always be like me and Johnny Ruiz and Corey Anderson at that time. Those three kind of like the guys who would go on the road. Everybody else just, pretty much we signed people to go on the road with us and then, come back home and play with the real roster. Um, just we just came out short in playoffs versus Columbus. Columbus knocked us out, and next year started in Roanoke. Nothing was like I wasn't really expecting to go back to the Fed after like a good year in in Denbury, and it didn't work out again after a couple of games. I got sent down, and I was really kind of like pushing it to play somewhere in the South. I was talking with Billy, it was like a thing I want to be, even if I'm going to be in the Fed, I want to be in the South. He kind of just promised me, he's like, "Cuz you're in Roanoke right now. We have a road trip to Carolina. Just come up and, you will like it a lot. You'll like it a lot, whatever we brought it up this year." And I came to play those two games, and I, kind of came up to him after two games and apologized. I was like, "Dude, like I kind of want to play here, and I want to, I want to win one. I think we have something special." Even like after first two games, and it ended up working out. Last year was truly amazing. It was a good hockey year. You enjoyed from a minute I got on the ice with that team, and it was cool experience. Yeah, and that's I mean, after that year, we I felt like when we had the first meeting, as a player, from the player, I have my own opinion to it, right? And I thought the message was kind of wrong. I don't know if you guys heard of it. Our message was burn the ships. And I felt like we shouldn't burn any ships. Like, we played good. Like, we lost whatever, like 10, 15 games in the whole year. Like, why would we burn those ships? And it just, didn't work out. First 12 games, it was like, we was losing a lot more than Denver expected at all. Last 12 games, like we lost almost the same amount of games the year before. And, you expect it, sometimes it's not going to be perfect because, every year is different. But it was just like, I wasn't having fun. And I was, I was talking with the guys, and I was like, I think I'm checked out. I want to be out of Denver. And me and Billy talk, and he gave me some options, and Joe, reached out, and I was probably like the best option I could, get it, and it worked out. And I mean, I'm I like a lot here in Biloxi. Just like a cool spot to be in. Like you're living in the South. You go to the rink in the flip flops. So it's always fun, So yeah, that's pretty much kind of like a short version of my pro career, how it started and how it's going.
That's a great story. You're gonna have to write a book one day in Russian and English. You're gonna have to write a book for all of us
Sounds
so
good.
we can read it too. It's a wonderful story.
Sounds good. We'll think about it. So,
I kind of have a three-part question.
mhm.
So, born in Russia, you played in Denmark, Sweden, Germany, and the US.
Yeah.
How many languages do you actually speak?
So I will say probably most Russian and Kazakhstan. And like Kazakhstan, not a lot, but like then I can, English obviously, and Danish. It's very hard language to pick up right away. I could have like when I was living out there, I could go to the grocery store and say thank you, like want to, like or stuff like that. But like I will say mostly Russian, English, and like a little bit of Kazakhstan. But like some of
And then,
the Slavic languages, like the Belarus speak Russian too. So if I ever gotta do like a job resume, I'm gonna say I know like 7 languages because they all are so similar. So
Now, did
and
you
then,
learn to speak English in America? I'm sorry, Sam. Did
yeah,
you?
I did. So I wasn't able to speak English at all when I was back home. And like the way you learn it at the school, you need to practice. If you learn any other languages, you need to have like practice every day where you're talking and stuff. So first time got to the States, I was like, I barely talk. My build house, my host family was like, this is fork, this is knife, this is pen. And yeah, I did kind of like I usually say, I don't learn my language by being at the school and stuff. I learned it by like speaking with people and, kind of always like put in the back of my head, like, okay, this word, this kind of sounds hard. And like, and then I will use it in some sort of sentence, next time I'm talking. And that's how I learned my language.
And
Can you?
then
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
the last little part with being all in the so many different countries, is there a certain country that has given you the biggest culture shock from something you've been used to before?
Mm, culture shock, I don't think so, but like the favorite place, I will probably say Denmark. It was just like, my first pro experience, and I was living it. I was loving it. You get a car, you get an apartment, you get a bike too, like as an extra thing. If you don't want to use your car for practice, like because they all those like small roads in Europe and stuff, so you just literally use a bike. Boosters. We didn't really have a boosters, but like we had sponsors who every guy on his jersey has a different company name, and those guys would literally like take care of you whatever you need. So all you have to worry about hockey. That's about it.
Amazing.
That was probably favorite country too. Like check the Copenhagen always was fun. Go to the second biggest city, Aarhus. It was fun out there too. More like a student city, but it was cool. The country's small, but there's a lot of cool parts about it.
And you talk about what it was like to come to a new country where you don't speak the language. You're playing juniors, so you're young. Was that scary or intimidating?
I bet it was more scary for my parents because like I'm a single child, so that was more for my mom. But I always kind of wanted to play like somewhere outside of Russia, and like learn the language, learn the culture, and all of those things. Try a different food, and play a different style of hockey too. It all comes to it, and being able to do that and pursue that, it's I feel like that's part of like really really good part about being a hockey player. You just explore so many countries, and you just seen so many good people and arenas and stuff like that. So that's probably one of the coolest part being a pro hockey player.
Could I follow up with, can you talk about the different style of play? I have heard there's a little bit of a different style of play from Europe to
Hmm.
North America.
So we'll say in Europe, the rinks are bigger. So just the size of the rink is a lot bigger. Like rink, I mean, like the ice is a lot bigger, and you have a lot more space in the corners behind the net. Just like zones are a lot bigger, so you kind of play possession hockey out there, which is back in the States here. The arena is smaller, ice is smaller, so it's a lot of dump and chase. It's a lot of hockey where you got to put the puck behind the D man, and go put a work out there. More physical hockey, I will say. A lot more fights too. I think it's a completely like different environments, like there and here. But it's like if you have it, both. I think it can give you a good dividends. By then, like you're learning how to play on a small ice. But then if you bring that game out there, you can be a little more greedy and stuff. So it's definitely helps.
Is that part of your secret as to why you are very, very low on penalties and minutes?
Hmm. I'm very low on the goals too this year, which is I don't know.
Oh,
It's like it's always I don't know. It's like it's hard like to predict, I guess, because especially this year I put a like we celebrate the cup, and then I felt like I need to put that work during the summer, ice, gym, and stuff, and it just I feel great in the ice, but the productivity, is that the word? Can I use that word? Is that like on the ice when you like produce and stuff? I guess like it just doesn't come, and I just trying to kind of pound the rock right now, and get back on the score sheet like I used to be. So it's a process, but it's a fun process, you know. And then again, coming back from like to my words, like every season is gonna be different. You just gotta, you know, find a way how to adjust and, you know, try to help your team.
Absolutely. So we've got one fan question so far rolling in. What Fed team have you enjoyed playing for the most? And what team do you love to play against the most?
Um, Definitely Seawolves. Like I enjoy to be in the Seawolf, and I enjoy to be in the Biloxi, enjoy to be in the South. But the team to play against, I will say since I've been in the other division, it's always nice to play against Binghamton. Black Bears has a nice arena, so it's always good crowds out there. And they all like when we play with the hat tricks, they will always give us so much crap. Like, you know,
Oh yeah, we
it's
do.
fun. You know, the you know, the dumping beer sometimes once in a while, and I usually, you know, sometimes I kind of fired up the crowd and, you know, started looking at people in the, you know, behind the glass, and, you know, it's kind of like energies, you know, start going, and it happens, and it's actually drives you to, you know, now, okay, like, you know, they kind of like, you know, talking a little smack on me. Now I'm gonna go there and try to score a goal so I can, you know, look back to them and give them another look.
Yeah.
Probably in the South, I will say Carolina, Columbus for sure. Like those two, always fun, just like, you know,
Okay.
because they pack the buildings, and there's always some good players on both teams. So it's always fun to play against, you know, when it's competitive, when it's not like, you know,
Yeah.
you're winning 7-1 or like, you know, big scores. It's like it's fun when it's like, you know, 4-3. You know, game goes till the end. All the fans, you know, sitting and watching. You know, you don't know who's gonna win. I feel that's a good part too.
And you had
Absolutely.
military appreciation night Saturday with Columbus.
Yeah, yeah, it was cool. I was talking with the guys. I was like, it was kind of cool, you know, like the way military getting, you know, bring up to the, you know, you bring them to the games, and, you know, you give them attention and stuff, and thank them for, you know, their service in the country. As much as I'm not American, you know, it's cool to see that those people getting, you know, a lot of appreciation on what they do it for, you know, for the people.
Yeah. It they had over 7,300 people that game too.
Yeah, that was cool. And they were like the, you know, the military guys. They were like chanting something too. I couldn't really understand, but that was cool. It was like just like, you know, TV timeout, kind of quiet, and then they just start chant. So that was cool.
One of
Yeah,
my
I've
favorite
been
nights.
absolutely. Military Night in Columbus is amazing. And I think you guys have a specialty night coming up too, don't you? Don't you have a military night coming up
Saturday, we have a
Saturday?
Saturday military night. That's our last one out of four. So we had four military nights with those jerseys, and so that's gonna be the last one. We actually went the other day to military like a retirement house here in Biloxi, and I was amazed how big it was, that facility, and how cool it was that they have, you know, the bowling out there. Like they're living life. Like it's cool. You know, they're riding the beach pretty much. So there's gonna be a lot of people who's gonna go, like around 400 people too, who's gonna be at the game on Saturday, next Saturday.
Yeah.
Because this Saturday we're in Columbus just for one. So should be a good one too. We need to get that win. We've been close. We've been close lately, but we just need to, you know, play a full 60 minutes. The way we play some certain of, like, you know, times, you know, we just gotta play 60 with Columbus because they're a good team.
Yeah, you guys, I've seen such tremendous improvement, just even from the beginning of the season till now. Do you have any idea? Were you guys just like really clicking, or did something change the dynamic to like really bring the team together?
I feel like that home stretch that we had, it's kind of like just, you know, settled down a lot of guys where we you know, we just felt comfortable. You're at home, you know, you're at the home arena, you know, you get a lot of fans, and that's kind of like, you know, kind of that bonding that we got it, you know, those through like maybe like those 3 weeks, it kind of like start clicking right now because guys, start getting to know each other a little more, and I'm all about it. Like I'm all about that team chemistry off the ice and on whatever you do off the ice as a team, it's gonna eventually transfer on the ice. So I'm a big believer in it. And the work last year, we was like, there wasn't a single guy who was off. Like everybody was on the same page, and we were like, we could after practice, I could go to the lunch with one guy. Next day, I could go with the other guy. They weren't like groups. They were just the one big group that like and so I feel like that's how it's here too right now. We just like very close with each other. We do a lot of things. We go bowling. We just go to the hot tub or something together. A bunch of team activities, and that's cool. Like we do yoga every Tuesday. We'll do like a team yoga, which is like I used to hate it yoga, and like now I'm in love with that. Like
It's funny how the South will change you.
yeah. It starts slowly coming up, together, and it's cool to see. I'm all about the process, and the process is going. It's going. So
we've got a couple more fan questions. Allison would like to know if you had to choose another team in the Fed, which team would you choose to play for? Any team has to be in the Fed.
I don't really like. I'll probably just say I'll stick with Seawolves. I'll stick with
Okay.
Seawolves. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. There's another one. Lee would like to know what has been the biggest difference between playing in the SPHL and in the FPHL.
I don't think I have enough games under my belt in SP, but from the first experience, what I saw, it's like the game is more structured compared to the Fed.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit more structured. There's, I've been always saying that since the game one I played in SP. Like, there's a lot of guys in the Fed that could easily take any of those guys' job. It's just it's part of the process for those guys that are in the Fed. They're still learning, and they're learning how to play that structured game. I feel like it's not college anymore. It's not juniors. It's way different. And so I feel it's more about for the guys that they slowly make that improvement in their game, and then if they get a chance, sometimes it's all about the chance too. It's all it takes. Get called up for one game. You catch a good eye, and coach. From that on likes you, and now you're there's kind of thing like you want to become that player that play more than like 20 games. Then you kind of you slowly become that guy that has a role in the team. Otherwise, it's hard at first. There's a lot of movement, and it's hard to keep that. Because I remember like for me it was such a like a kind of like a mental pressure. Anytime he comes up in the morning to the locker room, the first thing I wouldn't even go to the dressing room. I wouldn't even go to the dry stalls. I would check like the board if that's where the coach usually put the lineups, and I was like Kuznetsov, okay, still there. Then I'm gonna go and change and like okay, now I'm ready to go for practice. But I was like it was my every morning. I would just come in and check the last name. It's there. Okay, I'm good to go. If not, you can see the trainer walks up to you. He's like, hey, you gotta go talk with the coach. I was like, damn it. And then you just those conversations never easy. You always want to like stay at how it is, and like it's like hey like okay, that's my bad, like didn't work, or it's like give coach kind of like feedback. Is like hey, I didn't really get opportunity, and I which is he's not obligated for to anything to you, but sometimes you want to kind of cut the corners and give him crap for it. But I usually try to be as pro as I can be, because the hockey world is such a small world, and you never know where you end up, and you never know what you might end up with this coach in a different league, or
absolutely
he might call you up again. So I always just try to kind of like say thanks for the opportunity, let's stay in touch, and yeah, I don't really go hard on it. But one of my friend last year, he got called up to Pensacola, and then he was he played there like good amount of games, 25, 30 games, and then he kind of give it a lot of crap to to Pensacola coach on his exit meeting when he got sent down back to Denver right before the playoff. He just told him everything, and the coach was like, "Whoa!" Like he didn't even expect it because players. I feel like a lot of guys trying to usually be kind of positive on their when you get waived meeting kind of. But he just right away tell him whatever he feels. He's like, "Yeah, I don't care. I'll tell him."
Might come back to bite him. You really
Yeah,
could be right
exactly.
there.
Well, he won a cup and call it a career, so he's doing good. So he kind of knew.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Where's your favorite place to play?
Like favorite place to play where I played?
Yeah, like
Is
out
that
of all the different rinks, all the different barns and stuff you've played in the Fed, where's
hmm
been your favorite place to play?
um I'll say Mississippi or Binghamton. Like Binghamton is just like it's
I
like
love
I
that you
would
say
say
Binghamton. That just
yeah,
warms my
it's
heart.
like such a nice arena. Like like I went to a couple of AHL games and I was like, that's arena used to be an AHL, and they kept it
Yeah.
nice and it's always fun to play out there. Those flashlights when you play, like it felt like you're playing like in the higher leagues, like somewhere in NHL. It feels cool, and feels cool to play out there. And yeah, I will say Mississippi for sure. There, like it's always fun to play at home, and it's fun to play at home in front of like 4,000 or 5,000 people. So that's definitely a spot. I would love to play against Danbury. I would love to experience that because you're usually on the home side and you're like you don't really feel when all the fans were they giving you a lot of stuff on the opposite bench, but like I would love to experience that for sure.
I would love to see how the 102 would treat you. I would love to
Yeah,
see how the 102 would treat
yeah,
you if you
yeah.
came back as
I mean
as a
we're
wolf.
obviously cool. We're obviously cool, but
Of course.
I would you know start something in a fun way, just to keep it entertaining.
See if they
Uh,
still have that love for you a little bit, but still like, oh, we love you, but you suck. You're on the other team.
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you
And that's
have
unfortunate.
any? Oh,
Say it
go
again.
ahead.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. We don't play Denbury this year.
It
Mississippi
is.
doesn't play them, so we only have a trip to Binghamton in March, somewhere in March, like
Right
mid
before
March.
my birthday. You're coming to visit us
Yeah.
right before my birthday. And it's one of the people that sits right behind the bench. Even though you're not Danbury, you'll still hear it. I promise you'll still hear it.
Sounds good. There was actually behind the guest bench. There was always a
hmm
group of people. They're just like regulars out there. There was a yeah. They're always giving you like
I
the
know who you're talking
worst.
about. I know who you're
Yeah.
talking about. I don't know their name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, there was a one guy. He's always like
Yep.
he's sitting across from the guest bench. He would always take a picture zoomed in, and he was like, "Oh, look at you! You can grow a facial hair," or like, "Just look at you! You can grow a mustache finally." So he's like, I kind of just read it and didn't answer to him, but like sometimes I was like, "Dude, just come on, leave me alone." But it's fun. It's fun, when after games, if your fans texting you, that's always nice. When they're showing a little love and say like, "Hey, good job, guys, good game, whatever." But it was always fun when like opposite team fans texted you and they're like just pissed if you beat their team or something. The messages out there will be like hectic. If I pull them up from last 2 years in the Fed, yeah.
Oh my God. I would love to just randomly read those, like maybe without their names. Just, I've never once thought about messaging a player to be like, I can't believe you won. That's some bullshit. That's very funny. So,
Right.
yeah, you'll have to maybe screenshot a couple, cut their names
Sounds
out and
good.
send
Yeah,
them to us.
I have one guy that like clearly after every game he will send me like a shit message. He'll be like, "Oh, look at you! You're like about the beard or like the mustache," and then he'll be like, "Oh, like like on the beginning of this year, we lost to Binghamton in Binghamton." He was like, "Oh, what's going on with you guys? I thought you guys are champions." And like, just giving out
Oh,
like, "Dude, like relax." But
Like, keep it in
oh
the
my
yeah,
gosh.
ring, not my personal life, not my
yeah,
personal phone.
which is
Yeah.
sometimes like,
Right.
there was a one guy, I forgot his name. I think I still have the screenshot. He was texting me about like at some point in the standings, Bingo was on last year, only was 2 points behind us. And there was one of those nights where they were selling like a $1 beer, and we beat them like 3-2 with like 2 seconds left in the game. You know, De Benedette tipped it. We won the
Mm-hmm.
game, and this guy was texting me, he's like, "You guys never gonna win," or whatever, something like, "You guys never gonna win at the end." Like, you know, we're gonna win it. And then we won the championship. Next morning, we're driving on the bus to New York, you know, to go party or whatever, do there some, you know, stuff with the cup. I uh I messaged him. I was like, "How does that look for you?" Question mark. And he just read it, never answers to me.
Good for
So
you.
Yes.
I
Good
waited the
for
whole
you.
season, waited the whole hockey season
For
just
the
to like
petty.
text that guy. I was like, yeah.
Oh
You're
man,
gonna
I
have
bet
to
that
It's
felt
send
fun. You
us.
almost.
know, that's fun. It's always fun to interact with the fans. Like I'm trying to stay away from it, but like sometimes, you know, you're obviously reading like, you know, good messages from your fans, and you also sometimes, you know, dig in those messages from a different team fans. So yeah.
Do you have any funny like superstitions or pregame rituals?
I don't really like when people like touches my stick. Like I grab my own sticks. I carry my own sticks. Probably the biggest superstitious I have. It's not even superstitious. It's like my steels have to be perfectly sharp, so I feel them. And then if I get on the warm ups and I was like, holy, it's like it's kind of sometimes messing with you, but otherwise that's probably the only one. Like the steel, like my skates and my stick. So I don't like when people touching that too much or mess around with that.
Now, you mentioned winning the cup with Danbury. Do you have any
Mm-hmm.
good alleged stories with the cup?
I mean, there's a lot of good stories, and there's a lot of stories I can't say the names, but like probably the funniest story, like not the funniest, but it was a cool story. We was driving in the Times Square, Manhattan. You know, Times Square. You know, there's a lot of people walking back and forth on the side of the road. Like streets are packed. It's the middle of the day, so you know a lot of people go into the offices in their suits and stuff. And all of a sudden, we just popped the roof of our bus, and we just pop, you know, the cup, and it looks like a little me. It looks like a Stanley Cup a little bit, and I think a lot of like those New Yorkers, they thought it's a Stanley Cup, so they were like cheering for us on the streets, and it was cool. The only thing it was like because of all the, you know, the traffic lights, the bus is kind of high. So we have to sometimes, you know, ditch, you know, and bring the cup up
Oh,
again.
it's coming.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
literally when Tobias Ojek did it, he was like, "Hey, you gotta go down." So he went down, and we was under like some sort of like a kind of little bridge, and then he went up again, and you know, it was hilarious. That was a good time, and then we, you know, went as a whole team to the rooftop, so that was cool too. And I'm like, we're kind of sitting at that like, you know, area, like so you can see the whole New York, and there was a lot of people, you know, just come in and you know grab a drink, and there was I can see those two girls sitting on the side, and they were like kind of like talking, whispering to each other, and they were like, hey, that's a Stanley Cup, that's a Stanley Cup, and I was just sitting on the side, like just kind of giggling about it because we kind of placed it on like a one of the like a bar stool with, you know, on top of it, and it was just standing, and everybody was just comes in, and like even random people just comes in and take a pictures with it. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was pretty good. Like probably like 5 4 days. The celebration was, you know, mayor of the Denver also throw a parade out there. That was fun, and just, you know, being able to win something in a different country, and you know, a lot of players in this league been playing in. They're really good players, but they've been, you know, playing in this league for a while, and they still, you know, chasing a cup, and so that's it's cool being able to do in my second year in the Fed. So yeah, very I was very excited and thankful the way it went and happened. So that was definitely a cool
Mhm.
experience.
So I've got a couple more fan questions. The quick one here is what is your favorite food so far in Mississippi?
I tried jambalaya last week. That was kind of good.
Yeah.
Jambalaya with the crawfish. I'm not a big spicy guy, so one of the boosters made it, and I told them I was like, I'm not gonna even touch it if it's super spicy. I eat plain food. I can't handle anything with spices. So they made it kind of like a custom jambalaya for me with with those
Oh.
spices, and it ended up being good. I kind of like it. That's probably the only thing I tried because we didn't crawfish season is gonna start in a little bit too. Mardi Gras next week. Our parade is gonna be next week, so that's gonna be fun. Yeah, didn't try much of South food yet, but yeah, kind of looking forward to it.
And then one more was what has the culture been like in the locker room since Mr. Pacer has stepped back a little bit? How has that
Um,
changed?
well, he stepped back. He stepped back. It's like it's only he stepped back on the website.
Yeah.
It's only a transaction. Like he's 24/7 in the locker room. He's always around the boys. He does exactly the same things. You know, as he would always do. He's the coach. He's the player. His his friend. He's a teammate. He's kind of like everything in this organization. So it's we don't. I don't think he's gonna step back where he's not gonna see us. It's gonna be everyday thing. He's gonna be on the ice with us probably. Skating
Well,
and
that's
he's
great to
gonna be with
hear.
us. Yeah. So we you know having Joe. It's this guy's amazing. This guy's fun. A lot of fun. He makes it every day. More fun. And the atmosphere in the locker room. We're coming along together. It's a process, and I think especially like the last month we've been playing some good hockey. We sweep Carolina at home. We took a one game from Carolina in their barn. So a lot of games versus Baton Rouge, and I think we won. We lost maybe a couple, and we won more of those games than we lost. So we're on the right path, and a lot of guys feel that way, and a lot of guys work hard at the gym on the ice, and just communication is the key too. We talk a lot about how we play, and we talk a lot how we're gonna play against certain teams and who we gotta cover, and it's coming along good.
Oh man, that sweep at home. That was like one of the greatest
Yeah, we
weekends.
we felt it good. Like you can give Carolina a lot of credit, but those two games it wasn't even a time when we comes up. We will come like an intermission during the game, and we'll be like, okay, we need to come back or something. We was always leading the game, and we was always feel like we were playing some good hockey. Where at that time they weren't really like kind of like playing the same level as us. No, man, I'm not talking smack to anybody. It was just that you know, those two
Hey, it's not
certain games,
talking
whatever we
smack,
just
it's the
played.
facts.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just
Not
more,
talking
we
smack
just
if it's true.
yeah.
Spitting those facts.
Well, the last thing I need the Thunderbird fans get all over
Oh,
me.
God. Same,
Oh, they'll have their
same.
Which
feathers
is
in a
there's a lot of
ruffle over something
there's a lot of
anyway.
a lot of them good fans too. There's they give you a warm welcome, and there's some good fans too out there.
Yeah. Yep, I can agree with you on that. I don't know if you follow the trash talk page or not, but the Carolina fans go pretty hard. And I met some pretty awesome fans, even though I'm not a Carolina fan. But
Hmm.
yeah, I totally know where you're coming from. So I have a question. On your long road trips, what do you guys do to pass the time?
I'm literally just sleeping. I usually take melatonin and just took off right away. That's it. And it's been for me since I was a little kid. We was kind of like 40 minutes away with my family from the rink. What I was practicing and my team was practicing at that rink. So anytime after school, my dad had to drive me. I would just get in the back seat and I'm sleeping those 40 minutes. Recharging for practice. And same here. Anytime I can hear the buses moving, I'm already sleeping. So that's maybe watch a couple like TV shows or something on YouTube, but yeah, sleeping most of it. Some guys listening music, some guys talking, some guys eating snacks or whatever, like so there's plenty of things to do, or like some guys watching movies. We got those little TVs and stuff. So
You guys don't have a karaoke on your bus?
nope, but I think we can do without karaoke. We can just
I don't think it hurt to try.
yeah,
Might
we
just
usually
want to
bring
try it
some
once.
once in a while we just bring the speaker from the locker room on the bus, and after a good win Friday, Saturday, whatever, like we'll have a good time on the bus.
Plug in the
Absolutely.
microphone and just singing it as you guys are driving down the highway.
Yeah, it's fun when it's fun, and it's fun.
Oh, it's always fun.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
we're running short on time. Go ahead, Sam.
you're good. You're good.
Okay, I just wanted to we've got time for one or two more questions, so go ahead.
Uh, Most important question. Who's going to be in the championship?
I want it to be Mississippi against Binghamton or Danbury. That's
It'll be Binghamton, don't worry.
yeah. So I mean, don't I don't think we can sleep in Mississippi. We have some power, and we have a lot of time to fix our little weaknesses and stuff. And the way we've been the way the process been going, we made a lot of improvement to be where we're at right now, and it's a daily process, and I'm looking forward to be out there, and then April, May still play hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think Mississippi's a team that could surprise a lot of people. I
It-
don't think they should be
especially
underestimated.
especially for me, like when you taste it once, you want to do it again next year. It's crazy feeling the way it happens. Like when you'll think like you win one, okay, that's cool. You got it in your notebook. Put it in, but no, like you get more hungry. Like you want to do it again, and
I need
you just
more.
want to do it again. Yeah, like I'm talking with you guys, and I'm getting all pumped up about it. Like that's how
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
Like so, it's
Mississippi is definitely my dark horse team.
Yep.
yeah.
Same.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
They should not be underestimated, and I think someone's going to.
Oh,
So just to wrap things up, for the fans that are watching you live or the ones that are gonna watch us in playback land, can you have anything you want to say to your fans that are tuning in?
well, yeah, I will say, especially Mississippi fans, always come up to games and support us. We'll have to seeing you guys at the Coliseum. It's always fun to play when it's packed, and lately the way we've been playing, I think we've been bringing really good games. For a lot of people to watch. Either it's you're a fan of the fighting. There's a lot of fights, or you're a fan of the goals and all of that stuff. So I think we're bringing a good product every game at home, and I hope to see a lot of you Mississippi Seawolves fans at the games.
Awesome. Well, Dmitry, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you coming on the show, and we look forward to seeing what Mississippi's got going on the rest of the season.
That was good. Thank you guys for having me.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
We'll catch y'all on the next one.
All right, see you guys.
Quitters never win, even if you take a few licks on the chin. Just keep your head down and carry on. You fight like hell, turn the other cheek. It's what separates the strong from the weak.